So in my last video, I talked a bit about my feelings around this idea that theater is back, and I alluded to the fact that I'm also seeing in my personal career how I feel a little bit more confident that that is the case. So I wanted to share a bit more about that. For me, 2023 is starting to look like the way I thought 2020 was going to look. At the beginning of 2020, I signed on with the Gersh agency. I was so excited. A show of mine, Where the Mountain Meets the Moon, opened down at South Coast Rep. I went down there in February to watch it, and as I was driving up from Southern California, I heard on the radio that COVID had been detected in Costa Mesa, which is where South Coast Rep is. And I remember thinking, oh wow, well, I am leaving, so hopefully it'll be okay. It was not okay. And so, of course, I started to see things that I had hoped were going to happen, or things that had actually been planned to happen, start to get canceled, and everything that I had mapped out for myself that 2020 was going to look like, I had to revise. This is nothing new. This is probably the same for every theater maker or any artist or any human being who was affected by COVID. So fast forward to now, and there are a few productions of my existing work that are happening. That was always a goal of mine, was to get to a place where things that I had written and had gotten to world premiere would be produced on a regular basis to give me some of that passive income, if you know what I mean, happening parallel to any new work that I was developing. And I'm happy to say that there are a few productions that are slated for this year. Like I mentioned in my last video, there's always going to be this thing in the back of my head that's just ready to tell me, hey, it may not happen. Just be ready for some of these things to get canceled. So, you know, I'll take that with me. And maybe that's not a bad mentality to have in general. But here's what's lined up. First, I have Gin versus the Beach, which I talked about in a previous video, going on tour to schools throughout the San Diego area around March of this year. And then there's another production of Where the Mountain Meets the Moon, this time happening up in Portland at Oregon Children's Theater Company. There's going to be a production of Gold, the Midas musical, out at Virginia Rep as part of their children's theater series. There's also one or two more productions that I haven't officially finalized, so by the time this video gets published, it might be more official news, but right now I'd rather not jinx it and say it out loud. And then just this week, I was asked to write some music for a touring version of Midsummer Night's Dream at SF Shakes. And then there's just some exciting stuff with the new works that I'm working on that seem like there's more promise that more development on these new works is going to happen this year. So in general, I feel like I'm finally living the writer's life that I wanted to live in 2020, and I am trying to just dive in, embrace it. As I mentioned 2 videos ago, I am focusing on magic, and right now things are feeling pretty magical. There's always going to be terrible things in the world, and I don't want to not be aware of those things. And at the same time, I want to move. I want to move forward. I want to make magic, as I said. All throughout the thick of COVID, there were conversations and there were impressions that all I could do at that time was to plant seeds, to use an analogy. And it feels like finally, after 3 years, these seeds are starting to grow, and it actually feels gratifying. There's a bit of relief. There's some hesitant excitement about it all, and there's an awareness that maybe in the next few videos I'll have to record myself saying, well, such and such got canceled, and that's the way life is right now. But for today, just wanted to share why I'm feeling like 2023 is finally what I thought 2020 was going to look like. The last video was maybe a little bit more looking at the negative sides of things, but this time I'm curious What are you hopeful about for this year? What are you excited for? What are the things that are keeping you going, even if there's still a lot of terrible things going on? What is sustaining you? What is driving you? What is giving you life and energy and magic? Let me know in the comments. If you like this video, please like it, subscribe, share it, and otherwise, I will see you all next time.